some of the most grueling training in the U.S. military, and that's why they call it Hell Week. 24-year-old Navy SEAL candidate Kyle Mullen of New Jersey has now died during this training just hours after completing the underwater demolition SEAL class. The cause of Mullen's death is now under investigation. ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has more.
It's called Hell Week, and for good reason, designed to push Navy SEAL candidates to their physical and mental limits. But this morning, 24-year-old Kyle Mullen, seen in these LinkedIn and Yale photos, is dead, and another SEAL candidate hospitalized after the grueling 120-hour week of extreme testing.
I think 4 or 5 hours of sleep the entire week. You're in the ocean incessantly, so you experience hypothermia. You're on your feet, you're running, you're carrying boats, you're in the water.
The cause of death has not yet been determined, but the Navy says the two SEAL candidates were taken to the hospital several hours after their basic underwater demolition SEAL class, known as BUDS, successfully completing Hell Week, which is considered the most punishing part of the 6-month-long Navy SEAL assessment. While the SEAL candidates are supposed to receive constant medical screenings throughout Hell Week, Mullen's death is the 4th in SEAL selection since 2001.
At the end of the day, we need to produce the type of young men we need for the job. But at the end of the day, we're also, more importantly, focused on everyone's safety.
And our thanks to Martha Raddatz for that report. Let's talk about this some more. Joining us now, ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez. You know, Louis, Hell Week, as we know, is grueling, and it's a culmination of the initial round of training that selects the Navy SEALs, the most elite men within the U.S. Navy when it comes to special operations. Now we've heard, along with this death, another candidate is in the hospital after falling ill, just hours after both of them successfully completed Hell Week. So what happened? Do we have any idea?
Well, Kira, what we do know is that this was Hell Week. It's the third week of this BUDS training that you heard Martha Raddatz there talking about. And it's essentially a process to whittle down the incoming SEAL candidate class. They whittle it down by doing realistic training. And when you talk to special operators who were former SEALs, who served in the SEAL community, they will tell you that the physical stress that they endure during this Hell Week is key and vital because it replicates what they will need to do potentially in worst case scenarios when they undertake risky military missions. So they go out into the ocean. You saw in the video there, they're carrying those heavy, rigid hulled boats. They're carrying logs. They're conducting long distance swims in the ocean or in the pool. And they're staying awake for almost 120 hours in that entire week. So the Navy in the last, because there was a previous death in 2016, they carried out some reforms at the school where the SEALs undertake this training, and they said that they were trying to do everything they could to ensure the safety of those sailors. But again, now that they have these two, this fatality and this hospitalization, they have to look at again and explore exactly what needs to be done. But the first thing first is they have to figure out what caused the death.
Okay, and as we wait for that, because I know a lot of people want to know, not just the public, but family members and even those within the military, you know, these young men, as Martha even pointed out, are monitored medically as they are going through this training. So do we have any idea if those systems in any way, shape, or form failed, that maybe there might have been signs that these guys physically, you know, couldn't cut it and just needed to stop?
Now, Kara, you know, this is something that they've had to look at in previous incidents. As Martha said, this is the 4th fatality involving SEAL candidates since 2001. That's obviously a record that's going to cause some concern. And there have been changes implemented after each fatality because they look inward, try to see what needs to be fixed. One of the things that's really interesting here is that when we talk about the stress that these individuals are under, again, I mentioned 120 hours. That's the total length of the training program for that 1 week. They're going to get 3 to 4 hours of sleep. That's it. One of the things that we learned when we investigated this fatality this weekend was that those SEAL candidates during those few 3 to 4 hours that they get of sleep during that week, they are medically monitored because they want to ensure that everybody is healthy as they're conducting this operation, and not everybody can. And that's why the dropout rate from this week has typically been the 50% to 60% range. And it's only just the third week because that whole process continues for another 5 months. And then they actually begin the training after they've been selected as SEALs.
Louis, what reforms were made in the past specifically, and is it possible that we may see even more reforms? Because, as you know, the military will say, look, this training can't be compromised any more than maybe it already has or changed in the past, because we're talking about life and death and going into hardcore operations in military time. We can't in any way, shape, or form make this training easy, by no means.
No, and it's exactly right, Kara, because the SEALs, I mean, the word SEAL comes from sea, air, and land. That means they have to operate in all of those kinds of conditions on the ground, in the air, and at sea. And one of the things that they've decided to do is, like, when there is a situation, as we saw with Derek Lovelace's death back in 2016, he died in a swimming pool. He had drowned in the pool because they were trying to create stressors for him as he was swimming. And so what they ended up doing after they looked at whether the instructor could have done more, they decided that they were going to reduce the class size so that instructors would have more hands-on approaches. They could have better eyes on their students. They decided that they were going to limit the amount of time that they could be in the pool. So yes, changes do occur after situations like this, and it's primarily because the military wants to ensure the safety of every one of these sailors. I mean, they're their most valuable resource, and these candidates, whether they make it or not, are still the main priority for the Navy, ensuring the safety of their sailors. And so I think that going forward, they're going to try to see what needs to be done, if anything needs to be changed, and how quickly and how wide of a scope it will take.
And finally, Louis, the Navy put out a statement saying they, quote, extend our deepest sympathies to Seaman Mullen's family for their loss, as well as extending every form of support that we can to the Mullen family and Kyle's Bud's classmates. Just moving forward, no doubt this is going to be a tough time for the Navy, tough time for the SEAL community, Louis.
No doubt about it. When we've talked to retired SEALs who we reach out to in situations like this for their insights, they all feel it. This is a very tight community, very tight-knit. As we've seen with the numbers, there's a great desire among sailors to try to become SEALs. They're seen as the elite force within the Navy, but very few of them make it, and when they do, they have to maintain their level of standards throughout their entire career while they're SEALs. And so they all feel it. When one goes down in this situation, and just even trying to become a SEAL, they feel it. When one dies in training, as happened last year, they feel it. And when if one of these SEALs goes down in combat, of course, it's the worst feeling that they can have. So yes, it's something very important for the Navy, and particularly for the SEAL community.
Louis Martinez will follow the investigation for sure. Thanks, Louis.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.